Well, hello and welcome to Women of Color, Money and Legacy, where I talk money matters. I share strategies to empower us to become financially literate in terms of managing our money wisely, making important financial decisions, building generational wealth, and creating a lasting legacy. It's a journey of learning and growing together. And I want to start by welcoming all of the new subscribers to the channel. I'm so excited to have you part of this community. Now, do me a favor and click that like button as it helps the channel to grow. And if you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe. Okay, so let's get started. Now, last week I talked about how to successfully transition from employee to entrepreneur. I gave you a 7-step strategy for making that transition because starting a business can be risky, and I wanted to use my own experience to help put you in the best position to succeed as an entrepreneur. And as I promised last week, today I'm going to give you a business startup checklist of tasks that you need to perform as a prerequisite for making your business official by creating a legal structure and setting up your business framework. Now, naming your business and creating a logo are obvious tasks, but there are other details that are just as equally, if not more important. And rather than having you spin your wheels trying to figure out where, what, when, why, and how, here's a checklist to follow to turn your business idea into a real viable entity. Okay, so let's jump right into it. The first item on the business checklist is to select a name. Decide upon a name for your business. That's relatively obvious. But when you're selecting a name, don't pick a name that is too familiar or too similar to your competition. You want to make sure that there's a clear distinction between yourself and any other business that performs the same services or similar products as you do. So choose a name that is memorable and that's easy to spell and pronounce. That's first. Next on your checklist is to choose a legal structure. Now, choosing a legal business structure can be critical to the future health of your business, and there are pros and cons that you need to be aware of in order to make the choice that works best for you. So let's look at the 4 most common legal structures, starting with sole proprietor. And this is one of the easiest and least expensive business structures. All you need to do is obtain a business license and get your federal identification number, which I will discuss later, and just start selling your products and services. And there are no filing fees required. The next legal structure is a partnership. And a partnership begins when 2 or more people decide to start a business. And you'll need to register partnership business online at your state secretary of state's website. And if your partnership is doing business in more than one state, you must register with each state. And you will need to create a partnership agreement that indicates the roles and responsibilities for each partner. The next legal structure is LLC, which is also limited liability company. Now, the LLC is the simplest entity available. Now, with an LLC, the owners are referred to as members. It is attractive to many entrepreneurs because it protects its members' personal assets from all the claims against the company. If you are a sole owner of the business, then you will set up as a single member LLC. And the LLC also has much more favorable income tax treatment than an INC, which is an incorporated or a corporation. And each state has its own filing fees. The next legal structure is the Inc. or corporation. And the most common reason for setting up a corporation, whether it's an S corporation or a C corporation, is a recognition that the shareholder is not personally responsible for the actions of the business. The corporation exists wholly and separately from the people who run it. There are additional requirements that make the Inc. less attractive than the LLC, including record keeping and tax burdens. And again, the filing fees may vary by state. Now, over the past 25 years, I've operated as a sole proprietor, an S corporation, and an LLC. And for tax purposes, I decided to stick with a single member LLC, which is what my business currently operates as. Now, there are pros and cons for each of these in comparison to the others, but that's a whole nother video in and of itself, so I won't get into that today, okay? So those are the 4 legal structures commonly used to form a business: sole proprietor, partnership, LLC, limited liability company, or an Inc. or corporation. Now, there is another document you might want to file if you are a sole proprietor or a partnership, and that is a DBA, which is doing business as. And if your legal name is your personal name, you might not want to be identified by that. Now, filing a DBA allows you to operate under an assumed name or trade name, as it is called. Say your business legal name is the Barack Obama Group. Now, you might want to use a DBA or trade name such as BHO Consultant if you prefer to be less conspicuous. Now, generally, you would file your DBA paperwork with your county clerk's office and in some instances with your state government. Filing fees may vary by jurisdiction and state. Now, let's move on to the next item on your checklist, and that is get your federal identification number. often abbreviated as EIN or FEIN. Your federal identification number is to your business what your social security number is to you. It identifies your business from all other businesses, and the FEIN is issued by the Internal Revenue Service, and you can apply on the IRS website. The document can be generated online and immediately download. Just fill out the application and download the letter with your FEIN. It takes about 5 minutes. There are no application fees. Next on the checklist is to open a company bank account. Most banks offer business checking accounts, and there are still a few that offer free checking or limited fee checking. Shop around and get the best bargain and best business experience. Be sure to consider smaller community banks that offer a more personable experience than larger banks. Now, the only problem with a small community bank is that they eventually get bought out by a larger bank. That's happened to me a couple of times. But credit unions also offer business accounts. Now, next on your checklist is to set up your office. Will you work from home, rent office space, or purchase a building? You'll need to establish where you will be able to work daily without interruption. If you work from home but need to meet clients face-to-face on a regular basis, then renting office space will appear more professional, and so your clients will take you more seriously. If you need to schedule a meeting with a client, you can meet with them in a private office. You have a receptionist to answer your phone calls, a prestigious mailing address, the whole works. Now, the cost will depend upon the options that you choose. A while back, I rented office space in this beautiful high-rise office building in Midtown Atlanta, even though I was operating an e-commerce building. I wanted the professional appearance. But after a couple of years, I decided not to renew the contract. I decided to go with a cheaper route, and that is to just get a UPS store address and a Google phone number. And it didn't affect my business negatively. After all, I was selling products online. But if your business requires you to meet with clients face-to-face, then you should definitely consider renting office space. Next on the checklist is to get your sales tax permit. Check with your state and local revenue departments to find out what the sales tax requirements are for your business type. If you provide some type of knowledge-based services such as accounting or consulting, then your business will fall under the category of professional services. And in most states, professional services are exempt from state and local taxes. Say you have a repair business, repairing cars or appliances, you'll need to find out if repair and labor is taxable or exempt in your state. And in some states it is taxable, and in some states it's not, and in other states it all depends. So make sure your business is in compliance with your state and local sales tax requirements. Next on your checklist is purchase business insurance. Forming an LLC or an INC only protects your personal property from lawsuits. Business insurance protects you from unexpected costs of running a business. Many small businesses carry general liability insurance to protect the business from claims such as bodily injury or property damage. In some states, the law might require that you purchase certain types of business insurance. Businesses that have employees are required by federal law to have workers' compensation, unemployment, and disability insurance. Now, some states require businesses to carry additional insurances. So you want to visit your state's website and find out the insurance requirements for your business. Next on your checklist is get a business license. Whether you work from home, a virtual office, or brick and mortar business, your business is required to have a business license. Some business licenses are a flat fee. Some licenses are based upon the number of employees you have. Some are based upon gross receipts or projected gross receipts, and others are a combination thereof. Check your local government to determine the criteria and cost for obtaining a license in your city or state. Okay, now the next on your checklist is going to be to set up a record-keeping system. Now, as a new business, it is important that you establish a good record-keeping system from the beginning. Now, if you're on a tight budget and your transactions are not very high in volume, you can start recording them on an Excel spreadsheet. Over time, however, it will become necessary to automate by setting up an accounting system. Intuit QuickBooks is a great accounting software product that is easy to set up and use, even if you're just a novice. And you'll be able to run detailed reports and gauge the profitability of your company. Now, I've used QuickBooks for as long as I can remember, and it has definitely served me well. Next on your checklist is to systemize and organize. You want to have a method for paying your bills, taxes, maintaining your permits, and so forth and so on. Delegate certain tasks to staff and freelance contractors. You can't stretch yourself thin and be efficient at the same time. Next on your checklist is develop your identity. Order business cards and promotional materials for your business. A professionally created logo can make your business stand out and look professional and legitimate. And there are a number of online websites that you can go to, or you can just visit your local Staples or Office Depot. All right. The last item on your checklist is to get the word out. Once you've done all of the above, it's time to begin your marketing blitz. And start by promoting your products to your friends, your family on social media. And you'll need to include both free and paid advertising. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, those are good channels to advertise on social media. And you can even hire a marketing expert. Now, this checklist provides an overview of each task. I recommend that you do more exhaustive study on each of these undertakings so that you have a greater knowledge of what to expect and what is legally required. And there you have it. This checklist will get you off to a great start. Congratulations on your official launch. That's going to wrap up for today. Now, next week, I'll be back with more money talk and financial empowerment. I hope this information has been of value to you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell to receive an alert each time I upload a new video. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.